I recently turned 35, so here are 35 lessons I've learned in 35 years about art and creativity. If you enjoy making your art and it matters to you, that's all that matters, so keep doing it. Get a notebook to put all of your creative ideas in. Don't try to organize them or edit yourself. Just write them down. This is beneficial for two main reasons. First, you won't forget your ideas. And second, it frees up space in your brain for more creative ideas to flow in. There's no such thing as a wrong color combination. You can put together any colors you want. It's just about what feeling you're going for. Fear isn't going away. The right time to leap is not when you no longer have fear, but when you choose to listen to your hope and your vision instead. Beauty is a subjective experience. It is not a fixed, measurable thing. Kid art is the best art. It is the most uninhibited and uncontrived art. As Picasso said, it took me 4 years to paint like Raphael, and it took me a lifetime to paint like a child. The artist Izumi Kato, for every 1 hour he spends working on his art, he spends another hour doing nothing and relaxing. So space out more, and not while looking at a screen. Everything in life is cyclical. Your art practice will also be cyclical. There will be ups and downs. That's just how it is. When you have times, inevitably, when you are unmotivated or less productive and you can't make as much art or make the type of art you want to make, don't completely lose the connection to your art. Still do something small that will keep your art pilot light on. If you do not actively guard and carve out time for your creativity, life will fill up your time for you. You have to choose it. There will never be a time when everything I make is good art. There will always be duds. So instead of letting myself get discouraged, I'm going to keep making art regularly and in high volume so I can mine those gems. Art is a spiritual practice. Don't give up on a piece of art that you hate. There's a very valuable lessons when you go from hating something to making yourself work it out to a point of not hating it at least or liking it. And in between those is where you learn a lot. Your creativity wants to get out. It wants to be expressed in whatever way it can. And if you don't let it out, it will force itself out, and not always in constructive ways. There's a story, I don't remember where I heard it, but a pottery teacher split their class in half. Half the class for the entire course was to focus on one piece and perfecting that one piece, and the other half of the class was supposed to create a new piece every single day. And then at the end of the course, whose art do you think ended up being better? Not the ones that focused all their time on perfecting one piece. It was the people that made lots of art because they learned a lot more by making a lot more art. This one comes from the illustrator Andy J. Pizza. When you are blocked and need inspiration, instead of going to look at other artists' work, go back through your own notebooks and look at your past work and steal ideas from yourself. All artistic creativity starts with taste and being able to identify what you think looks good and what doesn't. When you follow your own taste, your curiosity will pull you deeper and you will make better art. This next one comes from design. I find that when I think something's not working, whether it is a design or a piece of art that I've made, the number one thing I can point to for why it doesn't work is hierarchy. If you don't have an intentional hierarchy, it just doesn't work. Having hierarchy or focal point gives a piece direction and a place for the eye to move. So if something isn't working, you're not sure what, play around with the hierarchy and see if that helps. Creativity is about making connections between different things. So expose yourself to as many different things in your life as possible. Technical skill is not everything. It is needed for certain types of art, but to make really beautiful, moving art, you don't need technical skill. Outsider art is proof of that. Wonkiness is exponential. When you're building something, if your foundation is not squared, everything you build off of it will become less and less squared. Similarly with drawing, if you don't get the bones of your sketch or the beginning of your drawing right, there's no fixing it later. So get the base of your creation right. Fear is a good thing as long as you don't let it stop you. Fear is a sign that you are growing and you are stretching yourself. You are a multidimensional being, and so is your art. You probably have a variety of disparate and seemingly mismatched tastes and interests, but you are the key that will bring them together. Flannery O'Connor sat and did her writing for 2 hours every day, even when she was sick and in physical pain, and she committed to it and the full 2 hours, even when she wrote crap, because you just don't know when you will have the inspiration and have the good ideas and when it will flow well. If you show up consistently, you will catch those days. I have neglected my art and creativity for long stretches, and I don't just mean months, like years, at different points in my life. And it's easy to start beating myself up about it, seeing it as lost time, which it is, but I always come back to my creativity with a renewed sense of commitment and excitement for it, as well as seeing things from a new perspective that I didn't have before. So while I wouldn't recommend long breaks, there's silver linings. Life will always present you with obstacles, but it's not to show you that you should give up. It's to show you that you really want it. Don't let your current skill level or lack of skills stop you from creating. If you give up now, you'll never know what you could make. You'll never know who you could become. When you have a creative idea, don't wait for what you think is the ideal time to do it or when you think you can do it perfectly. The perfect time is to do it when you have the idea and to ride that wave of momentum before it drops back down into a lull. So don't sit on your ideas. Sometimes they need to incubate. Julia Cameron, in The Artist's Way, talks about how a lot of creatives go into fields that are parallel to the field they really want to go and be in, but do not admit it to themselves. For example, an editor might actually want to be a writer. A theater critic might want to be a director. Or in my case, a graphic designer actually wanted to be an artist. Are you on the sideline of your dream? To avoid getting pigeonholed in a certain aesthetic or style, don't just look at modern references. Go back in history and look at all kinds of art from different eras. Maybe don't even look at contemporary art. That unsupportive voice in your head is not the voice of reason. It's a bully, so don't listen to it. When you're feeling down about your creations, think of those people that are always supportive of you, that always love your work, and always have good things to say to you. Allow them to constantly be cheering you on in your mind. This is a lesson from my drawing teacher from design school. Sometimes you have to go too far to know when you should have stopped. You have to ruin a piece to know when you should have stopped. You have to overpaint something, overcut something, whatever it is, you're overdoing it to realize, that 5 steps ago is when it's just right and I should have stopped. Sometimes you just have to sacrifice certain creations so that you learn those lessons. You don't have just one chance in your life. You did not miss it. Life will continually present you with opportunities, so don't close your eyes to them. And the last one is to have fun. Yeah, that one seems kind of obvious because if you're doing art and are creative, it's probably because you love doing it. So why would you need the reminder to have fun? Personally, I find it is easy for me to start putting pressure on myself or start making things too serious. So I have co-opted a phrase that Tim Ferriss used when he was writing one of his books. He would ask himself, how could this be easy? I've switched it to, how could this be fun? So when I feel myself tightening up and getting more pressure or too serious, I say, how could this be more fun? I hope at least some of those were helpful for you and you have some new ideas to try. What I'd really like to know is, what are the lessons about creativity and art that you have learned in your life that have been the most helpful? So please share them below so we can all learn from them. And thank you for watching. Bye.